Scanning. Identity authorized. Welcome to the Secret Superhero Club Podcast Network.
Welcome to the Animation Station Podcast, your home for discussions and debates about all things animation. Each week, we'll rank, review, and revel in animated shows from yesterday and today, and from around the world. So grab your Acme slingshot, set your mobile suit to autopilot, and put on your mouse ears. The Animation Station Podcast begins now.
No, like look at the normal show. That's bizarre as all get out.
Normal show?
You never seen that one? That's one of the only contemporary cartoons I've seen.
Normal show.
It's called The Normal Show.
Who's in it?
It's got like a blue jay and a gumball machine.
That's
no, not a gumball. That's gumball.
That's not the normal show.
It's called The Normal Show.
No, that's called
And it's got a ghost that gives high fives.
It's a.
Isn't that The Normal Show?
It's a raccoon and a blue jay.
Yeah. I'm telling you, it's The Normal Show.
It's not the normal show. It's the regular show.
Okay, same difference. The regular show. I'm lame. I don't know TV animation. But that's bizarre. That's totally bizarre.
Well, I mean, that's like saying like Adventure Time's bizarre.
Absolutely. It is bizarre.
But if you put Adventure Time with Ren and Stimpy, it's like they're polar
well,
opposites.
Well, one's
of each
not gross and one is.
I know, Adventure Time's horrible.
So your problem is the grossness.
Yeah, I would
Okay.
say.
Speaking of gross, we watched a pretty hardcore movie last night.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, like, we ate at Taco Bell.
Well, we did do that.
Speaking of gross, yeah.
Yeah, we did do that, and there's some rumblings and the tumblings, but...
Oh, man. All right, so let's go ahead and start this.
All right, bring it on, Josh Kane.
The last time, and I left all of that in. Did you listen to my flubs?
Yes, I did. You were flubtastic in the last episode.
Bad. But this is episode 7 of the Animation Station podcast.
El número 7. You like that?
Por qué? Wait, that's why, isn't it?
Yes,
okay.
It is. But yeah. Good try. Good try.
I don't know.
You were feeling the Taco Bell, so you thought you'd give it a try. Bell. It didn't work. But episode 7.
Episode 7.
Yes.
My name's Josh.
My name's Gavin.
And we're going to be your hosts for this fun, adventure-filled ride into the world of Studio Ghibli.
Yes, it's our first Ghibli pick. I'm excited about this one.
So, Gavin, before we go straight into our pick, anything? How'd your weekend go? We're recording this Labor Day.
Yeah, Labor Day. It's been a pretty good weekend. My wife and I went to northwestern Arkansas to the home of Walmart, Bentonville. And we were there for a family wedding, and it was a good time. We had a fun little road trip, and now we're back, and I'm ready to talk about some animation.
Nice. I watched Sailor Moon.
Nice.
Like, almost all weekend.
Well, sounds fun.
Yeah, I had a friend over. We watched the OU game.
Oh, football?
Yeah.
Boring.
I didn't really want to watch it, but... I was like, well, it's the first game of the season.
Yeah.
Should probably watch it. Probably shouldn't have. They got beat. It was bad.
Yeah.
I was like,
Anyway, what you got any news this week?
News?
I've got a little tidbit I want to drop.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, so if anybody knows me at all, they know that along with animation, one of my biggest passions is the music of the Beatles. I love the Beatles, and I love every song that they ever wrote. I'm obsessed with them. They're amazing. But Netflix has a new original series out for kids called The Beat Bugs. And if any of you parents out there have little kids and you want to instill a love of good music in them, you know, a lot of people already play the Beatles for their kids because they are pretty kid-friendly. But, you know, for little kids, sometimes it needs to be in a little more upbeat format. And what's cool about this show is that it's basically they use the Beatles music and they turn them into little musical moments in the show. And these little bug characters sing Beatles songs. and it's really infectious. It's really geared towards toddlers, so there's not a lot of jokes or cleverness that would really keep an adult entertained. But if you want your kids to watch a fun little show and you want them to hear really good music like Beatles music, Beat Bugs. It's on Netflix. It's pretty cool.
Is it just the Beatles?
As far as I know, they only do Beatles music. Yeah, but there's a huge catalog there.
I'm sure. I mean, like that LSD song.
Dude, why are you so negative, Josh Kane?
I'm just saying.
This is a great thing.
Or, as an alternative, if you don't want them to be subjected to the Beatles, just watch Jake and the Neverland Pirates. So,
ooh, they have good music too.
I know. I like Jake and the...
They're
weird.
fun.
Like, I watched... I think it was... Oh, man. It was early Saturday morning, I think it was. And I was just flipping through, and, like, Nick Jr. was like, what is that? Jake and Neverland was like, oh, this is actually quite good.
Yeah, they're entertaining. I agree.
But that's not what we did our pick on.
No, we did not do Jake and the Neverland Pirates.
This was my pick, and I went my favorite Studio Ghibli movie, Princess Mononoke.
Out of the two that you've seen?
Out of the two I've seen, this is by far my favorite.
That cracks me up. Well, you need to see more Ghibli because their studio puts out incredible work. But I'm really glad that you like this movie, and I'm really glad we took the chance to see it because, like I told you last night, it's probably been over 10 years since I've seen it, and I forgot everything about it. And wow, what a movie!
This movie, just a little bit of background. This movie came out in 1997 in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
We got it here in 2000. No, we didn't. We got it here in 1999.
Okay. Were you aware of it back then?
No, dude.
Okay. I didn't know. I wasn't.
I mean, I was into the anime and stuff, but I just never. Yeah, it's one of those things that it must have escaped me. Yeah. Between like all of my Toonami watching. But,
do you know if they released it in theaters here?
Yeah, it came in. It was a very limited release.
Okay, like New York, LA, Chicago, that kind of thing.
It was distributed by Miramax. They're the ones that did all the English dubbing on it.
Oh.
So
before Buena Vista got a hold of it.
Exactly.
Got it.
They just threw all of their money into the voice cast and didn't really market it very well.
Okay.
So that's why it just had a limited release, and it did not do very good in the theater at all.
Here, it did there.
Yeah, over there it made like $418 million.
Wow.
I think it was. But yeah, like I said, they threw all their money into like Billy Bob Thornton, Keith David, Gillian Anderson, Minnie Driver, John DiMaggio. Well, I mean, I'm not 100% sure how big John DiMaggio was back then.
Oh, yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah.
Is he big now? I'm not really familiar with him.
He's in a lot of animated stuff.
Oh, he's a voice actor? Okay.
Yeah. And he's like the only I think one of like the only professional voice actors that's in this movie.
Oh, as opposed to like Hollywood actors.
Yeah, there's probably some other like background characters, but like as a starring role, because I mean he plays the what is his name? It was Gonza, the Lady Iboshi's like the right hand man guy,
prime guard character. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the problem with this movie where it did not do well in theaters, so it was one of those like Disney didn't really want to do a whole lot with it.
Right.
It's kind of considered a flop, but it was, believe in 2000 it came out with like they started doing the home video release.
Yeah.
And that
once Spirited Away came out, which I think was in 2001, and that was such a huge hit. Then Disney realized, okay, we can make a little money if we distribute all these Studio Ghibli movies. Yeah. And they just started putting them out, and they started, redoing the voices and all that. And that was a smart move. Now, didn't you tell me that Miyazaki himself had started concepting for this movie back in the 70s?
Yeah, in the late 70s, he started started sketching about a princess that lived in the woods with a beast. So that was the late 70s.
Okay.
And then it wasn't until 95 when they started putting it storyboard and everything else together.
Right.
But it was one of those that
was he tinkering with it like along the way?
Yeah, because like there's a lot of this that kind of also goes into Nausicaa.
Yeah, I can see some similarities.
Yeah, and like I think what I read was they went and when they were looking for scenery and everything like that, the scenery that they found they also used in Nausicaa too. So well, this is perfect. So.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, when we get to our next segment, I'm going to definitely talk about the scenery. So
There is a couple other things I did find. Miyazaki actually did not prefer this name. Did not prefer Princess Mononoke. He preferred a different title for the movie called The Legend of Ashikata.
And
Ashitaka. Jeez, can't even say his name.
Ashitaka. That's fine. They're tough names. I actually agree with him. I think that would have been a better name because the movie's about him. Yeah, it's not really about Mononoke.
Exactly. I mean, the majority of, I say probably, you have San in the movie for maybe 10%. 10% of the movie.
Yeah.
Half the time she doesn't talk.
And she's a pivotal character, but it's still about, what's his name again?
Ashikata. Dang it.
Ashitaka. It's hard to get the kata versus the taka.
Ashi.
That's funny. Yeah, I think that may have been a better title, but Princess Mononoke, I think it brings a palatableness to it on the outset because the American audience is so conditioned and attuned toward princess animated movies that may have helped it with the American audience a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know if the American audience even came into their considerations when they named it or not, but on the American side, I think that may have helped.
But yeah, apparently Miyazaki also created his own kanji for the Legend of Ashitaka.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like, well, that's some good dedication there. It's like, I want this so much that I'm going to create my own, like, basically words and alphabet for it.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Cool.
But I mean, yeah, we can kind of go. Like, where do you want to go first?
Well, let's talk about our likes, and then we'll talk about our dislikes, and then we'll move into if we would recommend it, and who we would recommend it for. So, what did you like about this movie?
Everything.
There's single
There's
thing.
Not anything that I don't like about this movie. So my dislike is going to be
It's going to be real short.
Like,
okay.
I don't.
Well, I'll just ask you some questions then. So, what do you like about the artwork in this movie?
The background scenery is on point.
I agree.
If I was going to cosplay as anybody, it would be Ashitaka.
It's a cool character.
He's the only one, and like all the character designs in this are really, really good. Like especially San and Ashitaka.
Okay.
Those two together, like their outfits, their mannerisms, the way they interact with each other, I think is great.
Okay.
He's got his cool little ibex.
Oh, what do they call it? They call it a red elk.
It's a red elk, yeah.
So cool. Yeah, I love that thing. It's such a great choice to make. You would, the standard choice would be a horse, but he's riding this red elk with those cool ribbed horns that stretch, really tall. It's just a great vehicle for him and becomes kind of a character too. It's very loyal. It communicates with San at some point. You don't actually hear it communicate, but you understand that they can communicate together. So I agree. That's a good one. I agree about the scenery and the backgrounds as well. I think it's some of the most beautiful work in an animated film in that regard. The forest and all those broad mountain landscapes that you see. There's some that are panned out really far, some that are really close, and you get to see detail in a cliff or a cave or trees and a hollow and a pool in the middle of the forest and the water. Everything was just so beautiful in a very fantastical and romanticized way, but yet a believable way as well. Like you felt like those were real plants and real environments that they were moving in. I also really love their atmospheric effects. So what they're doing with clouds was amazing. Clouds and smoke, really. And I can't think of other films in America at that time where they had really mastered that atmospheric perspective in 2D animation. And it's really impressive to me. And there are shots where you see a grassy plain and you see the waves of grass from afar, just rippling like they would on water. And I really love those attentions to detail. Now, where I will differ with you is character design. I think in the main characters, the character design is really pretty amazing. But when we get to, what is it called, Irontown?
Yeah, Irontown.
Okay. They
the
had like 4 or 5 different male faces, and then they were just repeated. but then every single woman looked exactly the same. I also thought it was weird that they were basically walking around in loose bathroom robes, is what it looked like.
Here's the thing with that. They worked basically in a mine.
They were all those basically in a sauna.
Yeah, like all those women basically work in the forge.
Yeah.
So it's like they're not gonna, wearing silk kimonos.
No, I get it, but that's all they wore throughout the entirety of the film. Whether they were battling, whether they were supping, whether they were.
Movie, they have 4-day shifts.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I just thought that was a weird choice, and I also found it kind of annoying that they all had the exact same face. I mean, there was very little differentiation. They had the same exact eyes, the same basic face shape. The only differentiation might have been the color of their robe or their voice.
Yeah, and all of their hair is.
Yeah, they were all up in towels, basically. I mean, they looked like they were all in the bathroom getting ready, and which is fine. I get that it makes sense to the spot that they were in as far as working that forge and pumping those bellows, and you're just hanging out with steam all day. So being in a bathrobe kind of makes sense. But it was just weird that that's all we ever saw all of them in, and they all looked exactly the same.
Yeah.
Other than that, though, I think the character design is fantastic. I think it's really good.
Yeah.
Like, what's the lady's name? Lady...
Eboshi?
Yeah, like, I thought her character was great. She had that really posh, proper look, and she was just a little sinister and, just had command and control over Irontown through this bearing that she held. And I thought that was really good. And then you contrast that with this wild, free spirit in San, and in her life living with these gods of the forest. And then all of the gods in the forest were amazing.
All the animals
the
in this
wolves,
are really cool.
You had the apes, you had the boars. Those boars were scary, man. They were just a big bunch of tanks, basically.
Did you like how they showed their war paint getting on the boards?
Yes.
Or like dipping their snouts in and like putting it on their
really
eyes
cool.
and stuff like that. It was a really nice touch.
Yeah.
It's like the first time I watched it, I was like, how are they getting war paint on it? And then they show it. I'm like, that's actually quite clever, guys.
It's very good.
Very good.
Yeah, I like that as well.
I kind of wish the wolves would have done something.
Yeah.
Because the two wolves go in when they, San goes in, for that final charge. I wish, the wolves would have done, maybe something.
Right, you'd think maybe cool. They would do, the red stripes under the eye like she does.
Yeah.
Like, where does she get that from? If she's raised as a wolf, why does she have war paint?
Berries.
Yeah, I guess so. But I thought they did a really good job. The other thing I liked was
when she puts that half mask on and the ones on her cheek go down, it's actually pretty cool because it kind of looks like fangs coming down.
I didn't notice that.
Half. Yeah, it's only when she's wearing the half. When she wears that full one, you can't see. Oh. But when she wears the half, at certain angles, it just because it comes right above her, right past her nose, and so you have those on her cheeks, and they're the same color red, and it kind of looks like fangs.
Oh, cool.
So it was a nice touch.
That is nice. I didn't notice that. I'll have to look at that again next time I watch it. The other thing that I liked was the wood spirits or forest spirits.
The little kadamas.
Yeah, those were so great. They had those little rattle heads, and they would, I don't know what they would do. They would just kind of respond to things in the forest.
Yeah, they're tree spirits.
Yeah, either be frightened away or be cool with you and maybe lead you on a little bit. And I thought they were great. It was a neat little touch. Now, the other thing that I did like was, part of the theme of this movie was it had a very ecological undertone. Not even really an undertone. It was pretty overt in its ecological message of, living in harmony with nature instead of trying to dominate it and destroy it for its iron riches or whatever it is. And there's a lot of that in many Ghibli movies, the battle between man and nature and learning to work together. And I thought they did a really good job in this one because they were using pretty broad symbolism and kind of a good versus evil, but not really good versus evil. It was just different ideals working against each other, and the idea that you kind of feel like there is some resolution in the end of okay, we're going to rebuild it and be better this time because that whole battle we had didn't work out. The struggle that we had, man against forest and the forest gods against man, nobody really won. until the forest spirit
Yeah, 'cause,
wiped
like,
everything out and said,
even when,
"Okay, do-over."
yeah,
He
even
basically
when
called it
the
do-over.
humans technically win and kill
Right.
the spirit of the forest,
Yeah, they
it
still
ends up
lose.
killing everybody pretty much.
Exactly. And I think they do a good job of telling that message without, smacking you in the face with it, keeping it interesting, and really making a good point.
Yeah.
I thought that was good.
There were a couple things I wish they would have done a little bit more.
Okay.
Because we really only have 2 towns that we spend any amount of time in.
Right.
Like we've spent in, the very first time in the it's like
In Ashitaka's
Iboshi?
town. I don't remember
I
what
think
it's
that's the name of
called.
the people, whatever. Anyway, Ashitaka's original village,
Mm-hmm.
which is it is pretty cool looking. We really only see like a couple close outs or far away shots of
Mm-hmm.
it. But then when we get to
That's a new term we've just invented, by the way. Close outs.
close outs,
Go ahead.
put that on a shirt.
Yeah.
Close outs. So you have a couple far away shots, and then we have that. He goes to that village for like 3 seconds when he gets some rice,
Mm-hmm.
and then we go to Irontown.
Yeah.
And Irontown looks so freaking cool. Like that first close out that we have of Irontown, and you get to see all the spikes everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
and then we go even farther out and we see it just kind of sitting in the middle of the lake, with the
Mm-hmm.
mountains on either side.
Yeah.
I wish we would have done a little bit more in Irontown, because we're really
I feel like there's a lot of scenes in there when
we're
Son
in Irontown
attacks
a lot,
and
but we're really in like two rooms pretty much. Like we're in rooms a lot in Irontown. When he's eating dinner,
Mhm.
and then he's
in the forge.
He's in the
We
forge.
see in the forge.
And then he's
But then
with
there's
the
that whole
lepers.
chase scene through the alleyways and along the rooftops, which is really cool.
We don't
and then
really
there's that
see a lot
open
of-
square where her and Lady
Yeah, I mean it's
whatever
Eboshi, yeah.
Eboshi
I mean, it's
face
really
off.
big, but
and
I
then
wish...
Lady Eboshi takes us to her secret garden and then into her secret gun laboratory with all the lepers.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is we don't really spend a lot of time there. We see all these for like 3 seconds in passing, and then we're in a room.
I mean, we spend most of our time in the forest
And we just,
in
yeah,
the movie.
I wish we would have spent more time in Irontown. Like,
Yeah.
if they did a whole movie,
I think
just
we
like
get
you live in Irontown, that would have been cool.
Yeah, but I think we get the point of Irontown in just a few scenes. There's
Yeah,
not
but
much more to it.
But I liked it so much. I wish we would have done more there.
So what you're saying is you're a city slicker and less of a nature boy.
Yeah, the nature's gross.
Okay,
There's
I got
bugs.
you. So you would live in Irontown.
I would love to live in Irontown.
Okay. I would be painting trees in the forest.
Well, that's fine. I mean, when those monkeys try and eat you, so they
No,
can
I'd be cool.
gain your strength.
I'd be cool with the monkeys, and they'd be cool with me.
Yeah, you say so.
Those apes were creepy.
Yeah.
The way that they did them was
Like the first
really well
time
done.
when they're just like the black silhouettes, and
Uh-huh.
then when they actually animate them the second
Yeah.
time. I wish they hadn't animated him the second time.
Well,
wish they would've
I
kept
think
them
you
the
kind of get the
silhouettes.
sense that they're kind of non-corporeal at first, but they're becoming more, physical as the need arises for them to, rise up against, I think at the time they're rising up against any human, and then especially the wolves because they were protecting a human.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I gathered from their progression, but I did find that a little strange that they were kind of nebulous and just shadowy at first, and then sort of took on a more solid form later.
Yeah.
But I think that's why. I think they're building up for this, moment of truth where something has to give.
Yeah. Music-wise, I really didn't catch hardly any of the music.
I thought the music was
In this
quite
one.
beautiful. I really liked it. It's a very subtle score, I feel. I don't know who did the music. Did you look and see who did the music?
Sorry, it's someone Japanese.
A Japanese
Like, I
name
don't
that neither of
know.
us are probably familiar with. But, a lot of the Ghibli soundtracks are there for just an element to add to a particular scene. They're never driving the plot or driving the action. They're always there just to enhance, it seems like. They're always pretty subtle, and you don't necessarily notice them at first pass. And I like that in a lot of ways because of the way that they tell their stories. They allow them to unfold. And, I think they did a really good job with it. It's not one that I would rush out and go purchase because it's not really this kind of music that I like to sit around and listen to.
Yeah.
But for this movie, I think the score was perfect. I think it was really well done.
Yeah,
and I think the
nothing
fact that
stuck
it
out.
didn't stand out to you speaks to that, because it didn't annoy you.
Yeah.
And it wasn't in contrast with the movie, so it didn't stand out to you, and it wasn't so over the top that it took over and you're like, oh, hey, there's music playing. Because you're a very passive music listener.
Yeah.
And, it has to be quiet in the movie for you to really ingest the music.
Yeah, I did like the end bit, or like when the spirit of the forest like wishes down and basically cures everybody.
Yeah.
Which I did. I like that. I didn't, for whatever reason, I never caught it the first time I watched it. But I watched it 2 times this week.
Right.
And the second time I watched it at the very end, when like they're all in the river and they're like, oh look, the forest spirit, and turns everything green.
Yeah.
You see one of the lepers, and she's like completely healed. Like the bandages are falling off of her.
Oh,
like,
I don't think I noticed that.
She's like, what? Yeah, it was really cool.
I did not notice that at all.
I thought it was really neat. I was like, nice.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, like
That's
I didn't
awesome.
like I caught that and I was like, oh, that's really, really good. But yeah, there's that music playing in that scene that I thought was
it's really beautiful.
really nice.
Yeah, I agree. Now, that brings up something that I find really interesting. In 1999, the same year that this movie came out, Disney released a movie called Fantasia 2000. And it was basically their sequel to 1940's
Were they trying to get
Fantasia.
That out? Were they trying to get that out before Y2K, just in case the whole world went to crap?
No, I think it was released in late 99 and it kind of played into 2000.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it had anything to do with that, no.
That would have been funny.
But, originally Fantasia was meant to be an ever-evolving piece that they would go back to and add new music to, take out old pieces. And it was just going to be kind of a rotating feature animation that they would release every few years with new animated scenes. Well, that never came to be, and that concept was forgotten. Well, when they were really reaching the end of the millennium, they decided, hey, let's go back and do another Fantasia feature. And so they recorded all new pieces, and they kept Sorcerer Mickey's piece in it. And anyway, long story short, one of the pieces is done to Stravinsky's what's it called? The Firebird Suite. And they do this Mother Nature kind of character who basically is awakening in winter, and then basically like she's spring, and she basically begins to fly over the land and create all of the growth in this beautiful forested area. And she meets with an evil force, and they battle, blah, 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 blah. But anyway, in all of these scenes, like she's like touching the earth and making all this growth come forth from it. And it's not unlike what we see with the forest. Is it the forest king? The forest spirit?
Of the forest.
The spirit of the forest. When he's stepping and all the flowers and plants spring up from around his feet. And then in the end, when he's washing the world with new growth and it's all just springing forth, it's very similar, and I gotta believe that each studio in some way was influencing the other, because they're too similar to me to ignore, especially with the timing of it. And if anybody out there has not seen Fantasia 2000, because it's a recent film that people have forgotten about, and not a lot of people saw. It wasn't a huge hit for Disney. But it has some of the most spectacular animation I've ever seen. And that scene in particular, that's my favorite segment of that movie. And it is breathtaking. And it really reminds me of what happens in the end segment of this film. And it's amazing.
Yeah. There was one thing that I think you and I both kind of agreed on when we were watching it last night. That Spirit of the Forest was creepy. I did not like the whole human face thing.
There was some creepiness there, I agree. But I think
especially when he gets shot, like at the very end, he's like, what? And
yeah.
His eyes kind of bulge out a little bit.
And he starts to sink into the water a little bit.
Yeah. I was like, ugh.
Yeah. If you guys haven't seen it and you're still listening, we've spoiled everything already. But the creature that they created as the physical form of the Spirit of the Forest during the daytime he kind of has the body of an elk with this strange set of antlers, which is more like a tree growing out of his head than antlers. And he has strange, almost ostrich-like feet. It's like a tri-toed bird claw almost. But then he has this, almost goat-like, but almost human-like face.
It's really bizarre.
With some blue stripes on it, and it ends up being, I don't know if it's creepy or just so strange and odd looking that you don't know how to feel about it. You don't know if it's handsome or beautiful or ugly. It kind of, because everything is incongruous, all the elements of it. It's like a lot of those mythological creatures from the Greeks, where it's like the head of a lion and the body of a snake and the, I don't know, the tongue of a goat, whatever it is.
Tongue of a goat?
I don't know. They mix and mash up animals and beasts, into these new beasts, and I feel like that's kind of what's going on here. And not a lot of them end up being handsome. You can only draw those elements in so many ways, I think, to make them look really good. I think it's absolutely captivating and interesting. I couldn't look away from that thing anytime it was on the screen. But yeah, the first time you see it, it's like, whoa, that's what it is?
Yeah.
That's strange.
It's bizarre.
And then it takes on a different form at night. It becomes that huge
spirit
translucent, like forest walker thing. It's really, or night walker. It's really cool.
We haven't really talked a whole bunch. I mean, we talked about like the scenery and everything. We haven't really talked about too much about the characters. Do we want to really kind of go into like who, like watching the movie? If you were gonna say like who's your favorite like character, like animated wise, who's your favorite character?
I think my favorite character is probably, what's his name, Yakul, the red elk.
Yeah, cool.
I love him. I think he is so cool. I like Ashitaka a lot. I mean, I think he's the driver of the whole thing, and it's all about his journey, which again I think would have been great if they named the movie after him or the adventures of him. And
they could, instead of calling it Princess Mononoke, they literally could have called it Prince Ashitaka, because he is a prince.
Oh yeah, and she's not really a princess.
Well, she's like princess of the forest.
Okay.
So kind of like the wolf princess of the forest type thing. So I mean, she is technically a princess.
So I think that's kind of loose in its interpretation, because they never define her as a princess.
I mean, she's going to be. I mean, I guess now technically she's like the princess of the forest, because her mom's died. Her mom's dead.
Oh, okay.
And then the spirit of the forest is kind of gone.
Yeah, I think he's still there.
Well, because like they say because he didn't really turn back into,
Well, we didn't
spirit of the
see
forest,
it
like when he was the Night Walker.
Yeah, but we didn't see it because we were looking at a close out.
I hate you so much. Just because I can't do words good doesn't mean you have to be mean.
No, I think it's great. We're gonna use close out all the time now.
But yeah, what was
your favorite character?
Oh, it's Ashitaka.
Yeah,
but then
cool.
I really liked like when San's running through Irontown. I really liked the way that they animated her running, because she looked so fast, and she's so close to, like, I don't know how she was running. Like, her chest must have been like right on her knees, because she's like super far down.
Oh, her
when she's
angle.
Running. Yeah, she's got her arms kind of thrown backward in that cool like DBZ gotta run fast style.
Right.
But yeah, those two.
Yeah. I agree. They're a great duo. And, all the main characters were really well animated, and their stories were really well told, I thought. I felt like we knew everything we needed to know in the plot. I think there's just enough mystery, with questions, and I think there's just enough resolution and tension throughout that it's really a great story, a great plot, with a climax and a beautiful ending. I think the story's pretty right on it, and the characters along with it. Yeah,
there was a little bit of the voice acting that I wish they would. Like, I would love for them to go back and just remaster the voice acting with some of like the talent that we have now. With,
I agree.
Professional voice actors, like Billy Bob Thornton, kind of took me out of whenever he was talking. I was like,
I think he's a fine
Billy Bob Thornton.
Yeah, I think he's a fine enough actor, but he only has one voice, and it's that Texas Billy Bob Thornton voice, and he just it sticks out. Yeah, he doesn't. You don't buy him as a Japanese monk of any sort, even though, I mean, he calls himself a monk, but really he's kind of a mercenary.
Yeah,
he's kind of a bandit for hire.
Yeah, But like I thought Lady Boshi, that's Minnie Driver.
Minnie Driver. That was a good choice.
Yeah, she was great.
Yeah, because she sounds so posh.
Yeah, and
her character
Gillian
is.
Anderson.
Mm-hmm.
I thought totally fine as her name was Moro, who's the wolf.
Did you think that sometimes when the younger wolves were speaking, it sounded a little like Kylo Ren?
I can kind of see that.
There's a couple of moments where they spoke, and I was like, "Oh, that sounds like Kylo."
It totally is. But yeah, like I didn't like Ashika's voice.
Oh, really?
It's all right for some things, but like there's that one part where he's like, "Spirit of the forest, listen to me." It was like, oh god. It sounded like, someone who hadn't done any animated roles before. Yeah. And he's just kind of reading off the script. So and the same thing with Son a couple times.
Wasn't he voiced by a voice actor?
Billy Cudiff?
Is he an actor?
I'm not 100% sure if he's like an actor.
I never heard of him before.
But yeah, like Claire Danes, I thought she did good.
Yeah, she was
good.
Fine. Yeah.
But I don't know. He was.
I can see there's a little bit of
with Claire Danes where she doesn't really sound too good. It kind of like she's yelling a lot. I'm like, I don't know, like some of these, times that you don't really have to yell.
Yeah.
I mean, I've also never seen it subbed. So I mean,
okay.
For all I know, Son likes to yell in the sub. So maybe she got it off that. But I'm like, yeah, no. But yeah, it was Billy Crudup. Apparently he was in Almost Famous and Big Fish. Yeah, it doesn't look like he's
so he's done a couple of movies.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's a voice actor.
Okay.
Yeah, he's just a regular actor.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with him at all.
Yeah, neither am I.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's like one of my but I'm glad they didn't get anybody like in House where you get Christian Bale or
Batman.
Anybody like that, Batman like that to voice him. That definitely would have put me out.
Yeah.
But I mean, his voice is okay, but it's just some of the times that he, yells, it just sounds like he's sitting in the back of the booth, just kind of talking into it. And I'm like, it doesn't sound good.
I thought he was fine. I feel like I may be more forgiving with the voice actors in situations like this because I feel like when I'm watching a film animated in Japan, I feel like it's so alien to me anyway. The cultural differences, the emotional differences, the way that they symbolize certain things, and the way that they, like, facial expressions in animation are so different than what we expect here. They make their mouth shape into something totally different for an emotion that we would do, and things like that. So I feel like sometimes the acting may be lacking or off-putting to some people, but I feel like, well, that kind of goes along with how different it feels to me to watch a Japanese animated film anyway.
Yeah.
And I feel like, well, even when I'm listening to it subtitled and just listening to the original voice actors, those performances do often sound strange to me as well, because they just have a different cadence of speaking and a different way of emoting when they do speak. Yeah. So in a situation like this, it kind of works for me. And it may just be my lack of exposure to Japanese animation or Japanese film in general. I've seen my share, but I don't have a huge amount of experience with it like you do. So it doesn't stand out to me as being bad. It just is a different way of
different. I mean, it's not
sounding.
Awful. Like if it was bad, then I wouldn't have watched it more than the one time. But it's good enough. It's one of those, like, I just kind of wish they would go in and retouch it with some of like the voice actors that we have now.
Yeah.
Like some of the people that can actually, sound. I can't even say like sound good, but it's not really. But who can actually, act appropriately.
Okay, that makes sense.
We can. I don't really want to go into that whole sub versus dub.
Oh no, we don't need to have that battle.
My gosh.
Yeah.
We have like 17 podcasts just related to that and never figure anything out. But yeah, like I understand, and especially with Ashika's character, because he is like that brooding.
Is it Ashikata or Ashitaka?
Ashitaka.
Okay.
Ashi. So Ashi's character, like you can kind of tell it he's this brooding character, especially because he gets this curse. He has basically is exiled from home, and you kind of you feel for him, and you're like, okay, I understand why you're kind of PO'd right now,
Right.
But I don't know, maybe just the English voice on that is, I don't know, I just not in love with it.
I hear you. So you want to go ahead and rank it and talk about our recommendations for this movie?
Yeah, I 100% endorse this movie.
Yeah.
Like what I just said about the voice acting, that's my only.
And that's a minor thing, I think.
And exactly, it's like if you
it
don't
doesn't
want to
detract a whole lot.
If you don't want to listen to the English, it's got the Japanese audio on it too, so just watch that.
Exactly.
But I mean, I'd rather watch it in English just because I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, like I said, I have no problems with the movie. It's long enough. I mean, it's kind of violent.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Especially for a Ghibli movie.
I would recommend it as probably a PG-13 just because of violence in this movie.
Yeah.
A
lot of limbs come off.
Yes, when he shoots his arrows and an entire head comes off,
He
or
does
a leg.
That twice. He gets 2 headshots.
I know, and it's cool. The way they animate the action is really fantastic. I've always liked arrow shooters in animation. I love Merida and I love Robin Hood, and I love the arrow shooters, and I like that he is one. And that first time he takes a shot and it takes that guy's whole arm off, it really caught me off guard.
He shoots it. It hits the guy's sword and has enough force
that
to pull
rips
both
his
of his arms off.
Oh, man.
And they're just kind of like dangling there, still holding the sword.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
That was a really cool scene.
It's ridiculous.
Like,
so
I know
if
Cloud
you're
City,
parents, you definitely want to make sure your kids are not in the room if they're too young, because it's violent.
Yeah, like I know Cloud City did a few weeks ago, did their whole Disney Avengers thing, and I kind of wanted to put him on there just because I know what he
he'd
can
be
do. But I was
good.
like, he's not really Disney though.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. He's not Disney at all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I see. That's another thing. It's like Disney distributed. Does that make
They
it
didn't
Disney?
make it at all. No, no, it does not.
But even though Disney put all this work and effort and
all they
everything
did
into it and distributes it.
No, if you want to talk about Disney voice acting, maybe, because they hired voice actors and they have the distribution rights in America. That's it. They didn't.
Yeah.
They were no creative force behind it whatsoever.
So you did mention last night that you thought it was a little bit weird that they totally throw the whole.
I do think
Disney
it's
castle.
odd that Disney gets to put that opening Disney castle shot in front of all these.
Even before the Ghibli bit, like with the Totoro, like the blue screen with the Totoro on it.
Yeah, it goes
Disney's
before
very
Studio Ghibli.
first.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Disney has always been before Pixar, even before they owned Pixar. They would show the Disney castle first, and then Luxo and the Pixar logo. It was always first. So it makes sense, because why would a smaller studio not want to be distributed by Disney? Because you put that Disney logo on the front of your movie, people are going to see it and buy it and whatever. So yeah. I agree. I would recommend this movie for everybody except little kids, because it's violent. And
well, I don't think a lot of little kids are going to. There's no.
Neither of us are parents, so we don't have a great perspective on it. But I know that if I had a little kid over and I was going to show him a movie, this would not be the movie, because it's got body parts being shot off with arrows.
Yeah, and then what's his name? Nago, the boar at the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
When he completely disintegrates and all the.
Oh yeah, there's some gore in this movie. So how would you rate this movie out of 5?
Out of 5, I'm gonna give this a solid 5.
Wow.
I don't even know. What should I give this? 5 waddles? I'll give this 5 waddles.
Okay, I like it. 5 waddles.
Actually, no, I don't want to give it 5. Yeah, I'll give it 5.
That's your second Gravity Falls rating.
Did I do a Dipper?
No, you did. The girl, Mabel. Yeah.
Mabel? Okay. Dipper would be next, probably.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I like it. Well, my rating of this movie is out of 5 Jiminy Crickets. I'm going to give this one a 3.5.
Okay. I had a feeling you were going to go 3.
As stated before, my scale is very conservative, so that is a very high rating for me. And watching this movie again actually rocketed it way up my Ghibli list. I love this movie. Good movie. Want to do a top 5?
I think we can go ahead and go into a top 5.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Jeffrey! Jeffrey! Jeffrey!
And now for another top 5.
You want me to do it?
Sure, why not?
Okay. You gonna clap? Action. All right, guys. Welcome to the top 5. Today we're going to be talking about our top 5 animated animal sidekicks.
And again, Gavin gives me the hard job of trying to find all over the place.
I leave it wide open as far as genre. You can pick from any genre. And I think we may have approached it pretty similarly, but maybe a little differently because I only picked sidekicks to human characters, and I only picked animals or beasts. So I didn't include insects or anything like that.
Yeah, I did not include any insects.
And I didn't
either.
go too far into the world of fantastical creatures. Just a little bit.
What's fantastical?
Well, like unicorns or dragons or things like that. I did do a little bit of that, but...
Okay, fair play.
We'll see. Anyway, you're up first, Josh.
I'm
what do you
up
got?
first, so my number 5 is going to be... This is going to be crazy, but it's Disney.
What?
It's Disney, but probably not any Disney that you've ever heard of.
What?
I'm going to go Rufus, the naked mole rat from Kim Possible.
There's a naked mole rat?
Yeah. He even has a naked mole rat rap.
Wow.
Naked mole rat. That's hard.
You're no rapper, Josh Kane.
No. Yeah, he's Ron Stoppable's
Okay.
pet.
All right. So naked, does that mean he's hairless?
Yeah, he's a hairless.
Ooh.
He's like,
Is that how he sounds?
that's how he sounds.
Nice.
He's like, look at it, cheese.
I still haven't seen Kim Possible.
I know. It's a sad thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well.
But yeah, gonna go Rufus.
Excellent. All right. Well, my number 5 is from Disney, and it's a movie we both know and love, and it's Hercules' buddy, Pegasus.
That's hard to do.
Wow. Mouth trumpet
Yeah.
from Josh Kane.
It's supposed to be a whistle, but
Oh, it was a whistle.
no. Well, I mean, it doesn't Pegasus whistle.
Oh, yeah, he does. He does
Yeah.
a little whistle. But
He's a bird.
I think he's a good little sidekick.
Yeah.
I like the way that he's animated, and the motion and fluidity with which he flies is really good to me. And the fact that they gave him bird-like characteristics because he has wings, I think is a really nice touch.
Baby Pegasus is adorable too.
Oh yeah, and the
Oh.
way Hercules headbutts him, and that's kind of like their little
When they snore, it's like,
their like high
great.
five of endearment headbutt.
yes. Okay, so you went Pegasus as your number 5.
Yes.
Okay, nice. My number 4 is going to... Did you see how I tried to transition that I forgot what number we were on?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good job.
All right, my number 4, we're going to go into Anime Town,
All right.
and we're going to go the little blue flying cat Happy from Fairy Tale.
Wow.
Yep.
Never heard of it.
We kind of talked about Fairy Tale.
It's a blue flying cat.
Yeah.
So it has wings. Does it have
Well,
like bird-like wings?
No, he's a little cat,
Uh-huh.
but then he can sprout these like kind of like angel wings, and he
Whoa.
can fly around. He can pick somebody up and fly them away.
You can pick a person up?
Pick a person
Is
up.
he huge or is he
No,
just strong?
He's just cat.
Wow.
Yeah, you can pick somebody
Alright.
up. He gets tired,
Yeah.
but our main
Interesting.
character.
I've never even seen this
Yeah,
character.
the main character, Natsu, he
Mm-hmm.
gets motion sick, so he can't be on like buses or trains or anything like that. He gets motion sick, but for whatever reason, when Happy carries him, like flies with him, totally fine.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of cute.
Interesting.
Yeah, Happy.
All right. Good pick. Exposing me to new things every day, Josh Kane.
Yay!
All right. So number 4 for me is from a movie called Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. Have you seen this movie, Josh?
Yeah, is it gonna
is-
be that cool strawberry
No.
from the second one?
No, it's not. It's going to be Steve, his monkey sidekick.
Bill Hader.
Yes. No, it's not Bill Hader.
Bill
It's
Hader's,
yeah, he's
big
the
guy.
main character. It's Neil Patrick Harris.
NPH.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, he plays the monkey, and he has a little voice box thing that the guy invented for him. I can't remember his name. What's the main character's name?
I don't remember.
Anyway, Steve from Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, one of the most colorful, brilliant movies I've ever seen in my entire life, and we should probably do a show on it.
Nice. I like that. My number 3 is going to be, going back to Anime Town,
Shocker.
is going to be Luna from Sailor Moon, the little black cat with the...
Another cat.
Yeah,
Sensing a theme.
Cats are like anime. It's cats.
Yeah, they do have a lot of cats.
Cool little, you watched a
Kiki,
part of an
Kiki's
episode.
got a cat.
Yeah. Basically, say black cats.
I watched
Trigun's got a black cat.
I watched the last scene in an episode, and there was no cat in it.
There should have been a cat.
They were in an airport. You don't bring your cat to the airport.
Oh, yeah, they were in an airport.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
With planes taking off at 45-degree angles.
That's right.
Luna.
She's
So what does Luna do? Does she just
she's a cat.
cat around?
She's the one who basically kind of like, not really like awakens, well, I guess kind of like awakens
Mm-hmm.
Sailor Moon.
Okay.
Yeah. She's trying to find the Moon Princess the whole time.
So this cat actually has a purpose.
Yeah, cat's got a purpose.
All right.
It's kind of like a character,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also like, well, you have your Sailor Scouts and everything like that, Tuxedo Mask, and then there's Luna and Artemis,
Okay.
who are two cats. One's a black cat, one's a white cat.
Interesting.
So you got that yin-yang.
And you like the black cat?
I like them both. I mean, Artemis is voiced by Johnny Young Bosch, who's like my spirit animal.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned him before.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I'll mention him. See, I always try and find an episode to mention Johnny Young Bosch.
Mm-hmm.
It's my new thing now.
I'm pretty sure we've mentioned Hercules in every episode so far, too.
I think we have.
We like Hercules. All right, back to me?
Yep, number 3.
All right, so number 3 for me, I'm going back to DreamWorks Animation and a movie you probably haven't seen either called How to Train Your Dragon.
I've seen How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah?
You're going to choose
Hiccup's the boy. I'm choosing Toothless, that amazing dragon character. I love the design work in that film, and all of the dragon species that they create are just endlessly fascinating to me. And Toothless is this, particularly rare species.
What's he? He's a night something?
A night
screamer? Fury? Night Fury?
Night Fury, I think, is what he's called. Yeah, and he has that blue bolt of
never seen the movie.
blue bolt of fire. yeah. That he shoots, and I think it's fascinating to watch their relationship grow throughout that movie, and then to see what they become in the second movie.
Yeah.
Just fantastic. I think he's an amazing character design and a great animal sidekick.
I haven't seen the second one yet.
That could have been a good vehicle
who's in that
too.
movie?
Who?
Besides Gerard Butler?
Who?
David Tennant.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Who was he in that
He's like
movie?
one of the random Vikings, and he's in the second one too.
That's
just
amazing.
like David Tennant. And you're like, cool.
Yeah, that's a great movie. Great voice cast. All right, you're number 3.
It's my number 2. My number 2
Okay.
is, we're going to go away from anime. We're going to go to Cartoon Network.
Ooh.
And we're going to go to a little show called Adventure Time.
All right.
And we're going to go Jake the Dog from Adventure
Okay.
Time. Voiced by John DiMaggio, who is he plays the dude in... we just talked about it. Oh my gosh.
Princess Mononoke.
Princess Mononoke. Yeah, her like servant.
Yeah, the
guy.
main guard.
Kokoro or something.
First prime.
Yeah. The first, yes.
Something.
Her first,
Yeah.
The first prime of Obashi. Yes. So Jake the dog.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
He can stretch.
again, you're not surprised, but I've never watched Adventure Time. I'm aware of it. I know what it is, but as I understand it, it's basically this little boy, and it's like the show happens in his imagination, right? It's all his adventures in his imagination.
No, he's not adventures. Adventures, not his imagination.
I'm totally off base here.
Yeah, he lives in this. That show is actually surprisingly deep for a kid show.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's something like the world is basically, it's pretty much a post-apocalyptic world.
Mm-hmm.
There was the Mushroom Wars, hint that there were
atomic bombs
all over the place.
Sure.
The world actually has like a big chunk missing out of it, so it kind of looks like the moon.
Mm-hmm.
Like half the world is gone.
Okay.
Basically, like Finn's like one of the only humans left.
Scary.
And, yeah, he lives in the Candy Kingdom with Princess Bubblegum and
scary.
All those fun characters. Yeah.
All right. So what does the dog do? I didn't know the dog.
He's just like his best friend. They were like raised together. Like
Wow, that's a
Finn's
stretch.
actually raised by Jake's parents. so they're like dogs pretty much, but like so they basically think that Finn's their like race Finn is their son,
Oh, okay.
and so like they're pretty much brothers, so best friends, brothers.
Does
yeah.
Jake speak?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's John DiMaggio.
Oh, well, I didn't know if he just went rough.
He just talks,
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Has babies with Princess Rain, not Princess, with Lady Rainicorn.
Wow.
It's a rainbow unicorn.
Oh my gosh.
Quite cool. Yeah.
Amazing. All right.
Number 2
is from the Aardman Animation Studio, stop motion masters. From Wallace and Gromit, none other than Gromit, the most adorable animated dog ever.
Clifford?
Nope, not even close.
What's wrong with Clifford? You don't like big red dogs?
I do not.
Okay.
Boring red dogs. No, Gromit is the best. Gromit is hilarious. He's the brains of the duo, and Wallace doesn't get it. Balto's all right.
Balto.
But no, Gromit is awesome. He's hilarious and clever, and he's in a lot of ways the driving force of that entire franchise. I like Gromit a lot. Have you seen any of those? I asked you before because one of my vehicles was their motorcycle and sidecar when we ranked those.
Yeah, maybe.
But you don't think you've seen any of them?
I mean,
maybe?
I know of them and I've seen some stuff, but I don't think I've actually sat and watched them for fun.
Okay.
We
need to get you exposed to that because they're fantastic. They have the most amazing, wonderful spirit to them. They're delightful films. They really are.
Nice.
All right.
Honorable
mentions?
Honorable mentions. I've got a couple honorable mentions. My first one is going to be Waddles the Pig.
Nice.
Falls.
Your favorite show.
My favorite show. I'm also going to go... Well, my number 2 is going to be Pikachu from Pokemon.
Okay.
But I took him off the list just because he doesn't... I mean, he's a side character, but really he's like the main character because he's the face of the franchise.
Right.
So
I have a similar example of that. Yeah.
So yeah, I took Pikachu off. But my number 1, who almost made my list, it was very, very close, was Agumon from Digimon.
What is Agumon?
He's a Digimon.
But yeah, you say Digimon, it's like a broad thing.
A dragon.
Oh, so he's like a dragon.
And he looks like a little baby T-Rex.
Nice.
And then he, turns into, Greymon, and then Metal Greymon, then War Greymon.
Oh, yeah, obviously, yeah.
And he
digivolves.
Course.
Yeah, he digivolves.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that was such
It's
a thing.
digital, man.
All right, cool.
Digivolves.
All right. Do I get my honorable mentions now, or do you?
Yeah, do your honorable mentions, and then we'll hit our number 1.
So I had a lot of honorable mentions. This was a tough one for me to narrow down. I thought it was going to be mostly Disney because my first thought in my head was the movie Aladdin, and I thought of 3 animal sidekicks right off the bat with Iago, Abu, and Raja. But then I started thinking about Disney movies, and I couldn't think of a whole lot of others that I wanted to include. But some of the other ones I did think of were, I thought of Remy from Ratatouille, but then kind of like your Pokemon example, he's really the main character, and Alfredo's the sidekick. So I didn't include him. I also thought of Stitch from Lilo and Stitch.
Main character.
But
I mean, you can't really...
I don't know, though. I think he would have been good. He just didn't quite make my list.
Lilo and Stitch
gets
it's
not
second
Stitch
billing.
And Lilo.
Yeah, but he gets second billing.
Right, because he's the sidekick.
No, because he's like the second... Like it's like Starsky and Hutch. You won't say Hutch is
so you think it's just a duo?
Yeah, it's a duo. Yeah,
okay.
Lilo and Stitch, Starsky and Hutch,
Okay,
Turner
so
and
he's
Hooch.
not Robin to
from
Lilo's
Castle.
Batman. He's just Hutch to Lilo's Starsky.
Yeah.
Great examples.
Yeah.
I like that. I actually think that clarifies it well. I also thought of Pascal from Rapunzel. I thought he was great. I wanted to say Maximus, but I don't think he's really a sidekick as just one of the members of the group.
Yeah,
I think if they ever do a sequel to the movie, he may be considered the sidekick to Flynn Rider, but in that movie he wasn't.
Yeah.
So I also thought of putting Yakul, the red elk, in this one because I was just so excited about seeing him in that movie last night. But he didn't quite make the list.
If we do like a top 5, like horses.
Like
on
ride on animals. Yeah, absolutely. And then the other one that I didn't put on there because for some reason I just didn't consider bugs or insects. I didn't put my very favorite Disney character on there of Jiminy Cricket. I don't know. I don't really see him as a sidekick that much either. I feel like he's just another one of the characters in that movie, and Pinocchio's ignoring him for half the film anyway. So he's not really a sidekick,
So he's like Obi-Wan.
except for that one segment where they're at the bottom of the ocean looking for his dad. Other than that, he's just kind of like, golly, how do I rein this kid in? And Pinocchio's making dumb decisions.
Okay.
So those are my honorable mentions.
Nice.
Bring on your number one
So
pick.
for my number one, we're going to go to a little Nickelodeon show called Avatar: The Last Airbender, and we're going to choose Momo and Appa.
I didn't know there were any animal characters in
Yep.
that.
Momo is a little lemur.
Okay.
Can't remember, like, because it's one of those weird things where they have, like, in most of Avatar, they combine characters. Like, there's a platypus bear, which is like a bear, but it's like got a platypus nose and tail, so it's a platypus bear.
Okay.
And then like Appa is a flying bison, so it's a big, huge like bison thing that flies
with like bird's wings.
No, he just flies.
He just flies like Superman flies.
Yeah.
He doesn't have
He's
any
got
wings.
a big like tail, kind of like flies his tail. He doesn't look anything like a bison, but you know he's an air bison.
Sure.
Yeah, Momo's a little lemur.
Okay.
Yeah, they're integral parts of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Like the show, like that's the majority of the time. That's how Team Avatar travels around, is on Appa's back.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So wait, a lemur?
Yeah, he's a little.
That's
lemur.
a big lemur if they're traveling on its back.
No. Appa's the bison.
Momo's
the lemur.
Okay, confused.
Yeah.
So what does the lemur do?
It
leams?
Yeah, it just leams. He's just kind of there. He kind of like flies around. He's comic relief.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have wings either. He just flies?
Yeah, he does that whole thing where he like spreads his, like arm wings.
So does he help the team in any way besides providing levity?
Yeah, he fights the Fire Nation, stuff like that.
How does he fight though? Like I'm trying to get an idea of what he does.
Well, it's like, how does Apu fight? Or Abu, not Apu.
Apu just fights off, shoplifters in his little convenience store.
Abu. How does Abu fight? Kind of like jumps on your back. Like,
he'll scratch and bite and claw just like an animal.
Exactly.
That's what he does?
What he does.
Got it. That makes perfect sense.
He'll fly down, like pull the helmets of the Fire Nation down, stuff like that. Drop stuff on them. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, my number one pick will actually claw and bite and scratch as well. And it's from a well-known Disney movie called The Jungle Book. I'm going the greatest animal sidekick of all time, Baloo the bear.
Oh, so you thought you were going to go with Bagheera, because Bagheera is way cooler.
No. Baloo is the sidekick. Bagheera is the parental figure.
Yeah.
No,
cool.
Baloo's the sidekick. He's the one that teaches Mowgli to chill out. He teaches him how to scat and how to be cool and jazzy, and he basically is by his side the whole time. Baloo is the best. Like, who doesn't want a big, lovable bear who will also protect you and sing with you and be your raft down a tropical river? Great sidekick material.
I'd rather have Appa and Momo.
Yeah, I know you would, but that's weird because Baloo is awesome.
Mine can.
You don't oppose Baloo, do you?
No, I mean, I thought you could have gone anywhere else with that.
Yeah, I usually go with happy and magical, and you go with like battle mode every time. Pretty much.
All right, so got that top 5 down for this week. Looking forward to next week. Got something a little special planned for next episode, but we do have a special giveaway that we're going to be doing.
Yeah, it's our first ever giveaway to give back to our fans.
All 3 of you that listen.
Thanks, all 3 of you.
You're the best.
He's got a really good shot at winning.
Yeah. So, Gavin, what are we going to be giving away to our wonderful listeners?
So we have a prize of a Funko Pop, and we're going to be giving away the character Zero from Nightmare Before Christmas, which we feel like was a good pick going into the Halloween season, and also being an animal sidekick to go along with our theme this week. And so the details of how to enter are this. You need to go to our Instagram account, Animation Station Podcast on Instagram, and make sure you're following us. And answer the question in the comments of who is your favorite animal sidekick in the world of animation. And it can be anime, it can be Disney, it can be TV cartoons, whatever you want. Just tell us who your favorite animal sidekick is. That will get you an entry into the contest.
Uno entry.
Yes, that will get you one entry. Now, if you want a bonus entry, we have a ticket for you as well. And what we ask to get your bonus entry is repost the episode post for this episode on your site and hashtag ASP Giveaway 1. That's the number 1. And that will give you a second entry into the contest. So you'll double your chances if you do that.
Yes.
And then we'll also be throwing in, thanks Josh for that yes, that added so much. And we'll be throwing in a little something extra to the prize package.
That's what I was waiting for.
Which will be a surprise.
It's a nice little surprise.
Yeah. So anyway, we thank you guys for listening to us, and we just wanted to do something fun to give back to you, to get you to interact with us a little more, and to also share us with your friends. So good luck to you all. And the deadline for the contest will be the 1 week from when this episode comes out. And so we'll be announcing it on the next episode.
We'll announce this on our September 19th episode.
Yeah.
That's when you're going to find out who your winners are.
Yeah.
The close entry for everything is going to be Sunday the 18th.
Okay,
so
yeah,
get
Sunday.
everything in by Sunday the 18th.
Yeah, so you'll have Monday through Sunday.
Yeah, probably. What do we want to say?
Yeah.
10 o'clock?
Yeah, it'll be Sunday night. If people trickle
night.
in late and we still haven't done it, we'll take them. But get your entries in early.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, that about wraps it up.
All right, so I'm Josh.
I'm Gavin.
And hope you guys have a fun and safe Labor... No, we already had Labor Day.
Well, we hope you had a fun and safe Labor Day. Yeah.
If you didn't, then hi from the hospital. All right, everybody, I'm Josh.
I'm Gavin.
We'll
Thanks
see you
for
next
listening.
week. At the same time?
You paused.
Thank you for listening to the Animation Station Podcast. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Animation Station Podcast. Follow us on Twitter at Animate Podcast. Subscribe to us on iTunes. And join the conversation at SecretSuperheroClub.com, where you can connect with our podcast friends, Cloud City Cast, Getting Into Comics, and Shaun of the Gathering.